Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you guys stopping by to check out this one. This one is special to me. I had the unique opportunity to sit down with Rob Pincus, who is the creator of the Avidity Arms PD10, and discuss a lot of things involving the PD10, as well as what's in store for Avidity Arms in the future, and even some of the projects they're currently working on. Fortunately, I had a great chat with Rob, and he shared a lot of information and insight with me. Unfortunately, the interview in its entirety is kind of long, which is why I wanted to give you guys a cut that's focused on the PD10 specifically, since I did do a review on the pistol. However, if you'd like to watch the full interview, I'll include a link in the description. The full interview has a lot of great information and news, some stuff I did cut out in the effort of time for this edit of the interview, but there may also be information about an AR lower. They might be dabbling in shotguns, and possibly self-defense ammo in the future. Rob does a great job of laying out all of the information and teasing what's in store for Avidity Arms, so make sure to check out the full review as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
I guess to get started here, so we had the original PD10, which I did have the opportunity to shoot a lot, and I did my review on, and I really liked it. I liked shooting it. I thought it was great. I thought the feel of the trigger was fantastic. In my video, I compared it to the Taurus G3C, I think is about what I compared it to. And I think you said that was a fairly accurate representation about what that trigger felt like. But then we moved on to the upgraded parts, the newer parts. So I did notice on the range a significant difference in the feel of the trigger. We had a conversation before where you touched on there was a little bit of a hang up, or a little something you could feel. And I definitely noticed a difference in this other trigger. I thought that first trigger was smooth already, but this, you definitely feel it's smooth all the way through, a lot more smooth. Can you kind of touch base on what went into those trigger enhancements?
Yeah, so again, and we don't want to call it like an enhanced trigger. What happens is, if I look at this gun company a lot like I looked at my training company, right? If you go back and look at my training company 20-something years ago, we formally started teaching a program at the Valhalla Training Center called the Combat Focused Shooting Program. I don't know that there's ever been two classes that I've taught that were exactly the same, right? So 20 plus years, some dozen scores of classes a year, all over the world, different levels of student, different types of guns, different, focus in my mind on something I've been talking about recently, or a problem the last class had, or a problem I'm seeing this class have. So the class is always evolving and changing, right? If you talk to people that went through the instructor development, or any of the guys in our leadership team, they've seen that evolution. They've been part of that evolution and contributed to it. So the trigger has been like that as well. Now, that's to separate from an enhanced trigger or a target trigger or precision trigger, or whatever we're going to call that we'll probably bring to market next year. It's just an evolution primarily around this trigger bar and the way that the trigger bar interacts with the plunger safety, the drop safety, and playing around with the radius there, obviously without compromising the safety. This bird's head, we call it, that comes up and interacts with that. That's really what you're feeling is a difference in the way this is cut, and no difference in this. We are going to be changing this design in our target, for sure, in our target trigger that we're going to come out with next year in 2024. But we might even have some like reverse evolution where the target trigger will enhance the plunger safety design for the standard gun. So without lightening the standard gun, we might even make it like another level smoother than what you're feeling. But that hiccup was in the interaction of this part and the current plunger. So again, I think people are going to watch this. They're going to say, well, wait a minute, what's serial number range? And we could probably go back and tell you, but you could also just pop the top off your gun. And, if you're registered for warranty and you're having problems with your gun, send it in. We'll put the newest, latest, greatest parts in there. But that's not to say that because you don't have the latest, greatest part, your gun may not shoot perfectly for you, right? And obviously guns, as they wear in, what we were finding actually on this particular deal is that as people shot the gun more and more, and as we shot the gun longer and longer, we would see a change in this geometry that sort of leveled out. So it wasn't like an erosion that was constant, but it was a change in one of these angles, and then it settled. But once it was settled, it was smoother. It lost that little hiccup, that little hesitation at initial engagement. So it's like, hey, you know what? Why don't we just cut that in? And it won't compromise the integrity, the safety, the weight of the trigger, the way the trigger pull works, all that. And test that out. It works. Great. Here's the new trigger bar. And then from that point forward, boom. And that was probably like June of this year or July of this year. But if you're out there and you're watching this, it's one of the reasons I wanted to do this and get this information out there. You know, if your buddy bought one of these in April or March, you just got one in October or November, and you're looking at it, and you're like, whoa, this looks different. It's not a Gen 1, Gen 2. It's not a mistake. 99.99%, right? It's not a mistake that you're missing a part. It's just that gun was an earlier generation. If there's a problem, if there's a hiccup, register for warranty, reach out to me, or obviously avidityarms.com, at Avidity Arms, Instagram, or, you know, any of the contacts you might find for us. We'll get you squared away.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and I'll put some links in the description for anybody watching this as well.
But now, your gun, Brandon, you had an early gun, and your early, the gray gun, that one worked great. And you know, I'll give you a little bit more of a shout out than you gave yourself. You did a great job with that original content, right? And not knowing you, you know, I've been around the industry. I'm super old. Like, I know a lot of guys. Not being familiar with you or your channel. Actually, it was one of the guys here in the office that said, "Hey, do you know that is that Shenanigans? Is he one of your friends? Like, that's good content." And I was like, actually, I don't know who the guy is at all. Like, I don't even know how he got a gun. Like, he must have just bought one. Like, go figure, right? Like, so that's why I reached out. I'm like, here's a guy who's done nothing but invest in creating good content and sharing information about the gun that I brought to market. While guys that I've been friends with for 10, 15 years, it's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll get you some content on that. And it's like, hey, did you get a chance to shoot the gun yet? Oh, I meant to, but you know, and they got paying jobs. I get it. Like there's reasons why that doesn't always happen as fast as you want it to, even with best intentions of friends. But you jumped in and did a great job. And so I wanted to like reach out, acknowledge that. And that's why you actually had, I think you had the first black framed PD10 in private hands, certainly outside of an inner circle sense. So, and now you've had it for probably 2 or 3 months. And I know you've gotten to shoot it a lot. So that was really one of the first things I want to talk about was, okay, there are differences, but the first gun functioned correctly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've had no problems with the first gun. In fact, in my review, and we talked about this a little bit, the first time I shot it was in the rain, and it performed great.
You know, if you go buy a brand new Ferrari, they're going to tell you there's a break-in period. You buy a BMW M car, you know, there's a break-in period. Is there officially a break-in period with this? No, but I will tell you that something I've said about any gun for a couple decades, if you bought it and you don't take it to the range and shoot a couple hundred rounds through it and make sure it's working, and then shoot, you know, at least a box of your carry ammo through it before you carry it, that's just reckless. You know, I don't care what brand is on it. So I think if people do that kind of test, if they lubricate it, they take care of it, obviously I wouldn't be shipping these guns out as defensive guns if I didn't think that people are going to either identify a problem, an error that we made, or a bad part really fast, or find out they can trust the gun.
And I know that was a focus of yours, is making sure the gun was a concealed carry friendly gun. And the trigger is not, I guess, what is mainstream for triggers, striker fired triggers these days. And I'm sure some people might think, well, is that really, can you shoot it fast? And I don't know if you saw my video or not, that I uploaded. And I might have the first sub-second draw to first shot with a PD10. I think it was 0.89 seconds, and then a sub 2 second bill drill. So it's definitely capable.
Definitely the only one on video. We know. I mean, that's it's the only one out there in public. You can't argue with that. Like that was really impressive. And I shared that around on my social media.
And the gun shoots real flat as it is already. I mean, you did a great job of making that bore height just real low, and so it just tucks right up in there, and it shoots flat. There's hardly any real recoil to any flip, at least.
So a lot of people have talked about like the thinner gun is going to concentrate the energy of the recoil, and so a thinner gun gives a shooter more felt recoil for any given like other set of parameters, right? A gun of a certain weight, certain caliber, certain ammo, with 3 left in the magazine, that round is going to feel more pronounced in the hand when you fire it if this surface area is slimmer. Like, that makes sense. It's concentrating the same amount of force over a smaller area. However, what people don't really factor in readily is that difference in where the energy is coming over the hand in terms of how that affects your alignment. So yes, you're going to feel a little bit more, but it's more of a push. It's not really that twist that you get when there's more mass moving higher above the hand.
And you certainly packed a lot into a small frame as far as the function and the quality goes. Now, I know you kind of mentioned the challenges everybody's coming up with, and I think you split 2 cards, right? And
Yeah, that was like, yeah, I was like, all right, I'll get Blackjack with my black PD10.
and I think that really speaks to the accuracy of the pistol. I know you mentioned your accuracy standards, but man, that it shoots.
And our sights. We got to remember, like, these sights are the sights I designed for Ameriglow a long time ago to be fast pickup, like high contrast from the front to the rear, a big bright square inside of a big wide rear notch. When you're shooting at a card, even at like 7 yards, you're obscuring the target. You're sort of just like ish, right? You're like kind of guessing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some amount of luck, right? And that's why like the target version will have a different sight setup, right? It'll have a much more narrow front blade and a much more narrow channel in the back. So you have the potential to be more precise, to shoot at a smaller target that isn't obscured. Well, so I literally have taken knee, and I think I'm like still half talking as I fire the first shot, and the cards, pieces of cards go flying. I'm like, well, that's cool. Then I go pick it up, and it was just like the corner of the card, right? So like I hit it like here, and it like twisted the card at the top. I guess I didn't have them set strong enough, and it just took the corners off. And I was like, well, that's not good enough. So then I went back and put two other cards together and made it more stable. And I think the video I posted, I show it's like the second shot, maybe that cuts that one really cleanly in half. So I have not seen Trampus reply to that, nor have I seen you do it. So
I know
you got to go three of a kind. Three of a kind, I think, is the next challenge.
Now, is this the direction you saw Avidity Arms going when you first got everything started, or you just kind of you got what you needed to do to get the pistol out, and now you're just kind of seeing where else you can take it?
We're already talking about evolving this trigger mechanism so substantially that it's really not this trigger mechanism, and that lets us go back and revisit everything, like from the ground up, as far as the frame and everything else. And the experience you've had with the guns is like exactly what I want for people to do. Like, give it a chance, love it, decide you'd love to have another one, and really spend time getting to see what you can do with it and what it's capable of. And I think you've exemplified that experience and shared it with other people, which is awesome. So thanks.
I appreciate all the opportunities, and I've been following the project almost since inception. So to finally have one in my hands, I was super excited. And so when it did come out, I had to run to the shop and get one. There was no going around that.
Which holster have you been using?
The G code. I can't remember the name off the. That's the one with the sidecar for the spare.
Yeah,
I have that one, and I have the other one that has the magazine pouch.
But the Synchron.
Yeah, the Synchron. Yep.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. Good. Yeah. It's so is that the one you did the sub 1 second?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, man. I appreciate your interest in the project. I appreciate again your kind of production quality and willingness to just go out there and do it. I think that there's a lot of guys who reach out to me as somebody who's been in the media side of the industry and the educational promotional side, and hey, I'm thinking about starting a YouTube channel. Okay, it's free. Go. I don't know what do you have my permission. I'm not sure what you're asking, right? To see a guy who's out there just doing it, making it happen. The least I could do is say, hey, let me send you the latest, greatest. You have one in another color, and let's talk about it. So I do appreciate the time, on your platform, and obviously we'll share this out, and I'm sure other people will share it out, repost it, whatever, to let people know what's going on with Avidity Arms. It's just over a year now since in fact, I think this week might be the year mark where we got the commitment from Davidson's, our initial distribution partner, that we could be in their SHOT Show booth and in their SHOT Show flyer, which for me was a huge milestone, right? So it was in October of 2023 that we committed that we can get the gun for sale and shippable by January by SHOT Show. And then it was about finding out who our launch partner was going to be and how we were going to represent that at SHOT. And forever grateful, to them, my friends there, and took a chance on it being worth doing and supported us in that launch. So 1 year anniversary, certainly by the time this posts, it's probably about a 1 year anniversary since we started getting guns out to some of my media guys who are going to help us announce it after the holidays. So important milestone, and I appreciate you sharing it on your own, but again, really, sharing your platform with me to have this conversation as someone who's experienced the gun, not really about the gun, but about the company and where we're going.
Yeah, and I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate you allowing me this opportunity.
I can't wait to see you grow. Congratulations on your new endeavor.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate you.